Okay, for our French GCSE revision, we are going to look at two tenses side by side, the present tense and the perfect tense. And we are going to see how we ensure that we are using them correctly, and how do we tell them apart, and how do we recognize them in the spoken and the written language. We use the present tense to say something that we normally do or are doing at a particular time. We're going to be looking at a few examples of present tense verbs, some of the most commonly used ones, and they tend to be the ones that we use first or we learn first when we first start learning languages. Okay, so we got je joue, je regarde, je mange, j'écoute, je fais, je lis, and je bois. Now, let's have a look and see when do we use the perfect tense. We use the perfect tense to say something that we have already done, something that is in the past. In French, we use the I have done version of the verb. Okay, we know that j'ai is I have, so we know the first part already. Okay, so for example, we learn j'ai une sœur, I have a sister. Okay, so how are we going to form the perfect tense with that? So we use the j'habite and then we add a verb to it. Okay, as in English, you need to say the done version of the verb. For example, you can't say I have eat, you got to say I have eaten. This is called the past participle. For example, I have bought is j'ai acheté. Can you see how it differs already? I have done is j'ai fait. Okay, the ending is slightly different. Okay, let's have a look at the lists of verbs side by side. Okay, no, first of all, let's have a look at the past tense on its own. Okay, so we got j'ai joué, j'ai regardé, j'ai mangé, j'ai écouté, j'ai fait, j'ai lu, and j'ai bu. Can you see that it's already, although it looks similar, it has changed a little bit. Okay, so we got j'ai, and then we've got the done version of the verb. Okay, so we got jouer, regarder, manger, écouter, fait with a T, lu, and bu. Okay, next we're going to look at the two lists side by side. Okay, we're going to have a look and see how they look similar and how they differ. So let's have a look at the list again in the present tense. So we got je joue, je regarde, je mange, j'écoute, je fais, je lis, and je bois. And in the perfect tense, we've already seen the list, but let's look at it side by side. Okay, so j'ai joué. So we've now got j'ai, the j'habite, and we've got the done version of the verb. So we've got jouer, regarder. Now we're going to have manger and écouter, and j'ai fait, and j'ai lu, and j'ai bu. What I've done is I've put a couple of little arrows underneath each list. Under the present tense, we've got a small arrow because we say je joue, je bois, je lis. So the sound is a little bit shorter. And under the past tense, I've put a longer arrow because everything is slightly elongated when you speak. So you say j'ai joué, j'ai regardé. So the accent is also like a sort of extension. So everything looks a little bit longer. So that's a very quick sort of visual reminder and audio type of reminder to help you recognize the differences. Okay, but another thing we need to remember is that we need to use time expressions whenever we're moving from one tense to another. We need to let our listeners and readers know why we are using a particular tense. Unless, of course, we've been asked a direct question, then we just answer without having to say a time expression. Okay, for the present tense, we can use things like normalement, d'habitude, le samedi, le week-end, etc. And for the perfect tense, we can use time expressions such as hier, samedi dernier, le week-end dernier, etc., etc.